There, all right.
Wow.
What's up? That's pretty nice.
This light is so
The light is bright. The light is bright.
I look so pale. I'm pretty pale anyway, but this light is like.
Yeah, it really highlights everything. Hey, you guys. I feel like we're so far away though. Hold on. We are getting this. We are getting.
Yeah, we're trying to get our
yeah.
I's dotted and our T's crossed. Yeah, I know.
Here, and if we here, how about this? Yeah, you guys scoot in a little more, and we'll.
You guys might scoot back. Is that what you?
Yeah, I'll scoot these back a little bit, and that way. Yeah. There. Morgan, get over here. So Morgan was finishing up her makeup. That's not Morgan's phone, that's yours. Right?
It's mine.
Alrighty, guys, comment below. Let us know who's on here and if you can hear us. Morgan, is this as close as we're going to be able to get?
Yeah.
Yeah, with all this.
Are you kidding me?
Alright, well, Morgan.
Your poor legs.
Here, we'll just lean up, and Morgan, you and I will just have to really project. Yeah.
Okay.
Morgan has no problem projecting. Yeah. So how does this work? Do you guys read the comments?
Yeah,
That's
it's
what I
a
was
little
so
too
I
far.
gotta. Do you want me to scoot up?
I'm gonna bring up the comments on here.
Oh, you're gonna read the okay.
And Morgan will have comments on her phone.
Cause I got a lazy eye, so I can't really.
You do not.
I do.
She actually does.
Yeah. Well, it's
She
I can
does, but
correct
she
it.
can correct it because she's strong.
I'm
Wow.
strong.
Oh my goodness.
$1.99.
Super chat already?
Y'all awesome. Happy Pi Day. Oh, it is 3.1.
Guys, we can go get Blaze Pizza.
We might have to do that
We're
tonight.
doing it.
That might be our dinner.
Party.
People probably won't even take advantage of it because they're
I know.
scared. One moment.
Ooh, my phone. I just got a notification. Watch live. Paulandmorgan.
Wow.
Alright, so a lot going on right now. The big thing is that it is Pi Day, which means that if you are close to a pizza restaurant, they might have a deal going on.
So y'all check that out.
Take advantage of that.
We gotta swim first.
Yeah. Oh,
Sorry, bring this. I need to bring it right here.
we were a little bit underprepared to go live right at 2 Eastern time.
Yeah.
The ladies were
We're doing our hair.
they were doing their makeup and having some great discussions. I can attest to that.
He was listening in clearly.
Which is totally okay.
One moment.
Good, good.
Oh, that is weird.
Getting things set up, letting people have a chance
Yes.
to join. Hey guys, give it a thumbs up if you're happy to be here
Yeah.
on this wonderful Saturday.
Priscilla says, y'all gonna talk about Corona?
It may be unavoidable. It may be
It may be
unavoidable.
I know we kind of talked about how we didn't want to talk about it, but I feel like
Oh yeah.
It's
we're
such
gonna have
a-
to talk
yeah.
about
We don't have
it.
corona, if that's what you want to know.
No.
Yeah, we don't.
But it's fiddles over here.
So how about this? Let me just give us a quick introduction and then we're gonna dive in.
Yeah.
Brian Mills, thank you for your super chat. As usual, guys, we're so blessed by super chats. If you want to bless us and support the channel, do a super chat. We always make sure we get to those and give you the priority. You're awesome. So
Plus, he's a
thank you.
patron.
Patron, even more awesome.
that's so sweet.
All right.
Thank you for giving.
What we wanted to do here, you all, welcome, is we have Lucy and Caroline staying with us. As you probably saw, they were in our last video about, what did we title it?
It was How far is too far in Christian dating?
How far is too far? And per usual, when we cover a topic that's kind of heavy like this, we get some pushback. We get some
Yeah.
people disagreeing or saying, okay, but what about, so we thought, since they're here with us, let's do a little more of a deep dive, as I called it, because I think that's a good word for it. Practical deep dive into physical boundaries.
Yes.
And then we're just going to open it up. We love questions from you all. Have I missed anything?
No.
No.
And then we'll answer your questions, whether they're on physical boundaries or other things that are happening in the world.
Because the coronavirus, we were. Oh, I thought that was a burp. Wow. Yeah, because we realized that the coronavirus is on many minds. So I'd be down to at least
For sure.
give some thoughts on it and answer some questions. But we do want to start out at least with the dating boundary stuff. I feel like I've talked enough, even though we were going to hit on a few things. Do we just want to just jump right in and get your all's questions?
Get our questions?
Get our audience's
The viewers.
questions.
Oh, do we want to answer their questions?
Do we want to dive right in, or do we want to talk briefly on a few of the topics that I was from the comment section?
I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to get you guys to start talking, but one comment thread in the comment section, a girl and I were going back and forth a little bit. Her reaction to our video was, okay guys, dating boundaries, physical boundaries is good and all. Oh, there we go, 3.14.
That's funny.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll get to that in just a second. She was saying, that's great what you all are talking about, but let's be real here. What if you get to the altar or you get to your wedding night and you realize, oh no, we don't have physical chemistry? And I think I put this in the title of the video. Yeah. Physical chemistry. And Caroline, you were saying you've heard people talking about it. We've had comments on past videos. Physical chemistry is so important, and if you don't test things out, whether it's touching, just getting physical, sexual, if you don't test things out, then you get to the wedding night and you weren't compatible. Oh no. I want to hear your all's thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just kind of depends on what your mindset is, because if your mindset is about yourself, then yeah, that's going to be a really big worry. Or even if your mindset is about the other person, like that's going to be a worry. But like if your mindset is on God and is on like giving God like the joy, like giving him your joy, and it's like not necessarily about your fulfillment or the other person's fulfillment, but it's about like your relationship with Christ, like that's not really something that you're gonna need to really worry about. Like you can grow in physical compatibility. I mean, it's not like you're gonna go straight into marriage and like have, or maybe you will, I don't know, maybe it'll be really blessed by God, but like I just think that when you think about it like that, you're like, oh well, what if we don't have really really good sex? Like that's not really the right question, because that's not what a marriage is only built on, so
True.
I don't know, I feel like it's just kind of more of a selfish question.
And then I think to add on to that, I was talking a little bit earlier just about like how if in your dating relationship and in that engagement season, like spiritually you guys are connected, emotionally, mentally, just like really you have these strong connections, I feel like it kind of makes it a non-issue. Like yes, I think there's going to be a learning curve in your sex life. Obviously I don't have experience in the marriage realm, but it's just like, yeah, I feel like if you love each other in all those ways, then it'll flow together naturally. So I don't know, that's kind of my thought.
Yeah, I mean, whether that fear is just, it's a fear. And it's an excuse, and it's something that the enemy wants to try to get you all to use to step into living in sin with your partner. When it's so irrelevant in marriage. Like, when you get married, you literally have the rest of your life to figure things out, to go to sex counseling, sex therapy, whatever you gotta do.
Which is okay
to read books on how to have better sex life. Like, there are so many resources out there to help you, like, learn how to connect physically, intimately with your partner. So, like, that's just, and when I hear that, I'm just like, no. That is a lie from the enemy.
Hey, real quick, the Restart Life, I'm glad you're on here. Please, if you don't mind, and we could get another moderator, but do your thing. If you see trolls on here, we're kind of over the trolls that are trying to just get attention. So if you're on here making crude comments, being just a jerk,
it's not nice,
the
guys.
Restart Life, you have full permission. We trust you to boot them. We're not saying that to be mean, but I think you guys are over it as well. Like, we want beneficial discussion. You can disagree with us, but do it in a respectful way.
For sure.
So, yeah, love what you guys are saying. Go on.
There was one more thing I was going to say. I think, like, then if you as a couple decide to go ahead and test, like, those physical boundaries, go ahead and have sex before marriage, like, is that going to be a reason if things don't click automatically, like, to just be like, okay, I'm done with this relationship because the sex wasn't good?
That's it. I mean, so what are you saying, all of you people who say, you got to make sure you're physically compatible? I'm guessing you're saying you have to make sure that you've had sex and the sex is good? Or that you've gotten physical and the physical is amazing? Like Morgan said, it's a process that you grow in.
Yeah.
And so that's an excuse that I look at and I hear, and I don't see any biblical backing to this concept that we have to make sure that before we put the ring on each other's fingers, we're physically, sexually compatible.
Yeah, let me tell you, the first time you have sex, whether you're married or not, it probably ain't gonna be that good, okay?
It's gonna be special. Don't get us wrong, like it's special and beautiful, but yeah, like
you're creating a bond.
5
and that's
years.
Why I say wait.
5 years into your marriage, your sex, and we're getting fairly explicit, but we're just being real. Your sex is probably gonna be better than your first month. You know, that's how things work.
Praise God.
Yeah.
Do you think like y'all's relationship, like spiritually and mentally and emotionally, grew because like you went on that journey together of like trying to figure out like what was good for you guys?
Yeah, it's really cool and beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good way for us to learn how to communicate with one another, to share like this is working, this is not working, how can we do this, what are you desiring more of, what am I desiring more of, less of, whatever. Like, it's helped our marriage grow, not just our physical like closeness, intimacy stuff grow. Like, our whole marriage has grown. So
Love it.
but wait, there's a good question. Cream Colored Pony says, would you say that it's unlikely you'll not know whether you have physical chemistry? Do you think chemistry exists before you start being physically affectionate? And I think absolutely. I think that you can create, like, the chemistry between you can absolutely happen. You will know if you have like a physical attraction / chemistry between a person without being physical with someone. One, you find them physically attractive. Two, this is weird, but you like the way they smell. I would pay attention to that as I was dating someone. Like, did I like their aroma? And it literally is like a chemical thing that like people put off. They have a smell. And like
pheromones.
Yes, pheromones. And you become attracted to those or you're not. And so, like, I love Paul's smell.
Hello. Booyah. And also the personality. Like, a personality you can click with and be attracted to, and that plays right into intimacy as well. So it takes the edge off of, am I going to be, compatible? Like, these things, and it's the way that God set it up, guys. Like, you all go to Scripture for yourself. You don't need to watch this video or our past videos and be like, okay, I'm just going to believe everything they say. Like, make sure that you're going to Scripture, because we're not the authority, but we are sharing wisdom based on what we've read from Scripture and wisdom that we have lived by and learned from other people. So
and it's just so cool that God did that for us. He gave us our smell because He wants someone to enjoy that, and He gave us our personalities because He perfectly tailored that for somebody else. I just think that's.
I've heard studies on that, like studies on how, like you said, smell is like a special bonding thing, which is weird, but
It
is weird, but hey. Alright, shout out to Joshua Newhook for giving us a 3.14 Pi Day. Happy Pi Day. Enjoying your great videos. Thank you so much.
booyah.
Brian Mills, another super chat. Thank you. Do y'all have advice on online purity? That's good. We talked a little bit about that in the video.
We talked you brought it up, Lucy, and you guys are kind of in that phase a little bit. Give us some tips.
That phase.
I mean, so we both have Bumble accounts.
That's what I meant. They both
Yeah,
have
so I
Bumbles.
think that's what he was talking
They both
about.
have Bumbles.
Which can get way ahead of you. Like, they can make you feel really good. They really can, but just be careful in where you're getting your gratification from. For sure.
I mean, I think being pure just means like, I think it's all like your motivation. So like personally for me, like I'm not on Bumble just to like go out on dates. Like I genuinely want to find my husband, which weirds a lot of people out on Bumble. Like it really freaks them out. But it's also a good way to kind of weed out the ones you don't want. But I think just being pure just is just like, I mean, your motivation, just make sure it's like where it needs to be, and just be careful. Like, be careful with who you're talking to. If you kind of notice that the conversation might be growing or going into like maybe a little too flirty, maybe just maybe just like pull it back a little bit, because it can be difficult, because you are like, it is so nice to hear like, oh my gosh, you're so gorgeous, hard eyes, but at the same time, like you just have to, I don't know, you just have to be careful.
And I think
great.
other online purity things, like the first thing that comes to my mind is like pornography, erotica, stuff like that. They're like X-rated movies. Like, this is something that has been a struggle and a crutch in my life that I have really found God working and cleansing and making me pure through it. It's been a long process, but it's possible to find freedom. And I think a big thing, and I don't know if this is what you were going at when you were talking about online purity, is just to like know yourself and know your own boundaries, know when you're most vulnerable. Is it when you're hungry? For ladies, is it that time of the month? Like, there are
Not for
different
guys.
Well, no, obviously not. But like, but just be really aware of who you are, and just ask God to show you like what are things that set me off, that make me want to go down this track, and just to be really proactive in that. That's a huge thing, and just to be in the Word, just to learn what your Father says about you and who you are to Him is just.
And practically, if you start going down the road of online dating, but you're nervous, like, I feel like I'm very susceptible to my emotions and stuff, grab a friend who can be on the journey with you.
Yeah.
Doesn't that seem like decent advice? If you're like, okay, I'm going to wade into these waters of online dating, have a friend that checks in on you regularly and says, like, are you guys, are you being wise and staying pure?
Yeah.
Ryan's channel says, who are the other two? Well, I'm
Wouldn't
Morgan,
you like to know?
and this is Paul.
This is actually our channel.
This is our channel, you guys. You didn't know.
The Lucy and Caroline show.
These are some of my bestest friends, Lucy and Caroline.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were in our most recent video, and so our previous video, and we decided why not have them back on for live?
Made so much sense.
So we're here.
All right, let's start answering some
Let's
questions.
answer some questions.
Yeah. How did you guys meet? Well, we met through our church. I think she's asking us. We met these two ladies through the church that we go to.
And it was funny because I was so intimidated by Paul and Morgan, you guys.
No!
Yes, oh my gosh. I was like, these guys are so cool. Like, they have such a big YouTube following. Like, oh my goodness, I can't even talk to them.
I actually didn't even know about their YouTube following.
Yeah,
until
and
one
then-
Sunday at church, our pastor was
And then I decided that for one of my projects in school, I wanted to, like, interview them. And so that's how I kind of got to know them a little bit more.
Such a good interview that Caroline.
It ended up in the newspaper.
She got us in the newspaper. So that was awesome.
And then we were like, okay, this girl can be our friend. She got us in the newspaper.
And then Lucy babysat Squishy.
I did. That was the beginning of.
You both
Of
did.
good
You
times.
both did.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're awesome, you guys. Quality women, and that's why, like, when we have people on the show, unless maybe it's someone that disagrees with us and we want to have some type of dialogue, we want quality people that we trust, and so we trust their advice for you guys, I think.
How old are you two?
24.
I'm 21.
I'm 25.
26.
30.
So,
Definitely 30.
all right, let's get to some more questions.
All right, people are asking about the coronavirus. Let's just go ahead and address it, okay?
I don't know who has the most wisdom on this.
We all have thoughts and opinions and things, and people, like, churches are closing down, and people have thoughts and opinions on that. We have thoughts and opinions on
There's
that.
so many layers to this coronavirus stuff that we could talk about. So maybe we should get specific questions if you guys really feel like we want to talk about that.
So someone said a little bit earlier, they said, my church is closing down. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, they're only doing web things right now.
Okay,
But,
Priscilla
that's all.
says, my church is only going to live stream this month and I'm sad. Kind of feel like we're living in fear because of that, but I think it's more that we're just honoring our leaders and those in power. So, it's super interesting because we were talking about how several of the churches around us have closed down. There's a church in Louisville that I grew up going to called Southeast Christian Church, and they are a mega church, and like 25,000 people show up each weekend to go to service, and they closed their stuff down, only doing online stuff. And it is interesting. It's like, okay, I could see why people would think, okay, we're giving into fear. I could also see why people are like, no, they're just being smart. Like, there are thousands of elderly people that go to that church. There are thousands of little babies that go to that church. And so I think it is partially smart, but I also think, like, why not leave it up to the people that go to this church to decide, like, am I going to go out in this or am I going to stay home? You know, you can't always trust people. Sometimes people are like, oh, I'm sick, I need to get out of the house, I've been closed up in the house forever, which is really dumb, and you shouldn't do that. Just suck it up and stay at home.
Yeah.
But, so I don't know. It's like, I just don't know. But what I was saying last night to these ladies and Paul and Michael was that it's our responsibility as Christians to set an example in how we respond to this. We don't respond in fear. We don't respond in panic. We don't respond stupidly either. Yeah, we take it seriously. Yeah, we wash our hands. We stay home if we're not feeling great. We be careful. But we also don't let this control our lives.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Christians are failing at this.
Yeah.
They are riddled with anxiety and fear and panic, and it's not good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, you gotta admit though, when you go to the grocery store and they're out of everything, and you're like, I need toilet paper, like I genuinely don't have that much more, and they're out of it, like that does. But I think that goes back with what you're saying, like we're responding. So many Americans are naturally responding with a sense of panic, and so that's actually what's causing more of the problem than the actual sickness.
Yeah.
Is okay, panic, so suddenly we have shortages of this stuff and shortages of people who actually need, certain medicine or whatever, because everyone's panicking that don't need to.
Yeah.
And I mean, guys, like I had a lot of anxiety. Like these people can tell you, I've had a lot of anxiety where this is concerned.
She's been a little on edge lately.
I really have, and so it's just a challenge to like give these current circumstances up to the Lord and remind yourself that Morgan said it before, but that the Lord was not surprised by the coronavirus. And this is not the first time in the world that this kind of stuff has happened. I mean, you think about SARS and Ebola and whatever, and even the flu, you guys. So, I mean, I think just trying to keep a level-headed mindset about it is really important. And wash your hands though.
Yeah, wash your hands, be smart, but also I saw something. Where is it? I don't even remember. But yeah, I just think the media is pushing, guys, you look and you do some research and you find out that the media has mentioned the coronavirus 1.1 billion times in the media, and they mention swine flu 40.1 million times. That's insane!
Yeah.
What,
there's an agenda.
Yeah, there's clearly an agenda. They're clearly trying to get something to happen. They're trying to get fear instilled in us, and we just have to chill out, okay? Yes, you can go ahead and listen to what the media is sharing. You can go ahead and listen to the news reports and whatnot, but don't just immediately accept it. Just do your own research and just, I don't know. We understand that it is serious and people have died, but we also can't forget that people die every single day from the flu, from so many other things, just from life in general. And I'm not trying to make it seem like the losses that we've had are insignificant. I get that they're significant and it hurts and it's painful for the people who have lost loved ones, but we also just can't let that be what then controls us and the fear that takes over.
One last thing I'll say about the corona, and then we can read more questions or move on from it. But I saw Marcus Rogers, who some of our audience probably watches, Christian YouTuber, very passionate and fiery, and he was saying as far as the churches, because I want to know if you guys have any thoughts on this, or in the comment section let us know, but he was very confidently saying that churches that shut down their services or stop their services because of the coronavirus are living in fear and not in faith.
Yeah.
And I was watching it man, he is really cracking down. I don't know if I saw things as clearly as him. Any thoughts, you guys? A church that says we're not going to have service because of the coronavirus, he was saying he thinks that's wrong.
Yeah, because like our church in Indianapolis closed until like March something, I don't know, but it is a little interesting because there's, on the one hand, you're stopping like communion of the saints, like with God, you're like, is that okay? But then on the other hand, you are like Morgan was saying, there are a lot of elderly people, there are a lot of people who are really susceptible to diseases and viruses, and so it's, I don't know, it's hard.
I feel like they could, I don't know, maybe compromise and have a half and half. Like, send a letter out saying, like, if you are feeling sick, if you're having symptoms, just like, please, maybe refrain from worship this week. But I think to shut down the church throughout the rest of the month, I do find that a little extreme.
It's just kind of giving in to the panic.
Yeah,
and fear that,
a little bit.
Because guys, like, as Christians, this is an awesome opportunity. It really is. It's like suddenly we have this opportunity to just to be a light. Yeah, to be a people that do have peace when the people around us don't. And so
that's a good point.
We probably should look different,
What is it saying when we're doing the same thing everyone else is doing?
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's crazy.
Sunny says, if schools and markets, theaters, and cinemas are closed, I feel like churches should also be, well, not closed, but there should be less masses.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I said a little bit.
Yeah,
Just
I
like,
get that.
Yeah, let us know
smart.
let us know your thoughts on this, guys. Specifically the church things. I'm curious where you guys kind of are standing with that.
Yeah.
Mindy Slimmer, I'm not going to live in fear. However, shouldn't people that are sick be staying home anyways?
Yeah, exactly.
Totally
And I
agree.
think that's like what churches need to be putting out. Like, in my opinion, I don't really think that they need to be closing. I think they just need to be like putting out a heavy statement saying, like, if you have any symptoms of illness, like, stay home, like, do not come to church. And a lot of churches will provide like an online service in addition to their normal service. So like, it's not like you can't go to church, you can still participate, but just be smart. I feel like a lot of people aren't gonna come anyway, just you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Sky Bishop, this is a good one, says, church is supposed to be a place of healing anyways. Why close down the church when it's a place of healing?
Amen.
That's good.
I think that's powerful.
Good. Yeah, it's powerful. And something that I was going to say was, even if the church is closed down, that doesn't mean church can't happen. Like, one, they're doing online services, but you can have church in your own house.
We
like,
are
yes,
the church.
We are the church. So the church is not closing down. The building is closing down.
Yeah.
And so let's not forget that, like, we don't have to rely on the lead pastor of a giant building church, like, to lead us on a Sunday or any day.
Yeah.
Like, God has called us to be pastors and prophets and missionaries and all this stuff. So, like, we also have that. We have that authority to, like, have church in our house. So, yeah, I mean, just remember that.
Good. That's good.
stuff.
All right, let's get back into a little more of the dating boundaries.
Yeah.
How far is too far topic?
There was a question for Lucy.
I saw that
Did you
about
see
being
it?
24 and not
Yeah.
being married and having your friends being married. You guys, it is hard. I mean,
Oh.
there are definitely days when I'm like, oh my goodness. But for the most part, where I am in my walk with the Lord now, it's like I do have such a peace that if I was supposed to have already met my husband, that would have happened because God would have arranged that, and B, like, I just must still be in the process of being prepared, and likewise with my future husband. So yes, it can be hard, but for the most part, I'm really at peace. So just try and seek that peace with the Lord and just what
good.
He's speaking to you about your own life, and just how you can be preparing. So
And there's like no like specific age. I think that like every Christian needs to get married. Like I feel like a lot of Christians are getting married very young now, which is okay. But I feel like, sometimes we think, oh my gosh, if we're not married by 21 or 22 or at a certain age, like that means that there's something like wrong with us or there's something not right. And I just like, that's just such a lie, and God has us each on a very different timeline. And so just remember that, like, if you're, like, right now, we go to a Christian school, and, like, everyone is getting engaged. It's like the joke is, like, ring by spring, right? Like, everyone is getting engaged, and so you're just standing there, you're like, well, I don't even have a boyfriend, so so it can kind of get you down a little bit sometimes, but yeah, just remember, God has you on your own timeline, like,
and He's protecting you. He's guarding your
Yeah.
heart. Like, I can see, like, in so many seasons of my life, I was like, oh, give me a boyfriend. I want a boyfriend. I want this now. Guys, I would have been so naive. I would have gone into relationships not knowing even what boundaries were, or even to consider the fact that maybe kissing someone could end up being a harmful thing in the end. So just like, yeah, I've just been so blessed to be spared from relationships where things could have gone wrong. So I'm really thankful to God in my singleness in this season now.
Yeah, good. Pacurar Iona says, can you exaggerate in boundaries, like overguarding your heart? If I don't want to hold hands with someone, is it wrong?
Going too far with boundaries.
That's a good question. I think we're going to bring up this topic of fear again in this. Like, I think there can be a spirit of fear where it's concerned, but I also think you know yourself best. And so if for some reason, I even talked about this in the video, holding hands, I think we talked about it, like getting our hearts pumping, like it's powerful, it's physical touch. So like, yeah, there can be a spirit of fear, but just be sure like it's coming from a place of godliness, and not just like worldly fear of like getting hurt. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, I don't want to say like too much caution is possible, because it's better to be overly cautious in a relationship than not cautious at all. I would rather someone be overly cautious in a relationship so that they don't mess up, because people who are overly cautious are probably not going to mess up way more often than people who are like, we'll just see what happens.
It's funny because there are things I feel like to take risks in, and you can be a little crazier in, but when it comes to relationships, to your sexual purity, to your heart, I think we would all agree, like, this is something you don't really want to mess around with. Like, go ahead and err on the cautious side. And then if you're reading, like, the Bible, we mentioned it in our last video, the Apostle Paul talks about sexual purity, sexual immorality so much, like, over and over again, book to book in the New Testament, because of how much sexual purity affects other areas of your life and your future. So, we take it very seriously, and we strongly encourage strict boundaries. Just, But it's a great question, though. And I could see how some people would be like, okay, Paul and Morgan, Lucy and Caroline, like, I like you guys, okay, but you're over-exaggerating this. You're being too strict. You're getting legalistic. Like, that's fine. That's a good conversation to have. But like we just shared, that's why we take this stance.
Yeah, I think I saw a question pop up where it asked, like, can you overguard your heart? And I think that if your heart is chasing the Lord, like, you don't have to worry about God. Like, God is guarding your heart, and I don't think that's possible to overguard your heart. Like, I think we should be so filled with Scripture, and that, like, our hearts are so over. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's possible to overguard your heart. At least not in like a biblical sense, I guess. I think that sometimes, like, kind of like what Lucy was saying, maybe like there's a worldly fear of being hurt or something like that, and that is a little different, I think, than overguarding your heart.
Fear. There's a difference between fear and living with godly wisdom, or even godly like caution. I don't know. I don't want to like just say there's a godly fear, but like there are some things that you honestly, like, it's good to have a healthy fear of. You guys, what do you think about that? Like, like you should kind of have a healthy fear of hell, and there are sins that it's like, okay, so I mean, I think there could be a case to say like there is a healthy fear.
Maze G says it's totally possible to overguard your heart. Well, please explain.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Yeah,
right?
tell us. I want to know.
Expound, yeah, because guys, like we are open. You know,
You can
I'm
agree.
saying this. I'm just thinking out
Yeah.
loud here, but I do think there could be a healthy fear of, and I think the Apostle Paul talks about
Hey,
that.
but
I
I'm
saw
trying to read a question.
Oh, good. I just
Can you briefly cover why you think it's necessary to be celibate outside of marriage when God's grace covers all of our sins?
there we go.
Y'all.
Guys, we can't use God's forgiveness as an excuse for sin.
Quoting Paul.
I mean, it just doesn't work like that. I mean, God.
Man, wouldn't that be fun?
The reason that God tells us like to be celibate before marriage and to abstain from sex before marriage is because He loves us. Like He tells us that because He loves us. And there is grace. There is grace for Morgan, and there is grace for me, and like so there's grace, but like there's also just such a special thing about sex, you guys, and God doesn't want you to have sex with someone who isn't the person you're going to be with for the rest of your life, or who you have not committed yourself to through marriage. Like I don't know. We can't use the fact that God's going to forgive us as an excuse to sin. It's just not. It's not.
I mean,
It's not a
if you go
good
murder
idea.
someone and you do it thinking, oh, God's going to forgive me of this later, like,
Does that make it
I mean-
right?
Right.
Like no, and that might seem like an extreme thing, but I mean
stealing,
stealing
less extreme, I
or
guess.
being gluttonous,
Cheating.
yeah, like it's just I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we take Bible verses out of context so quickly and so aggressively, and like, no, but His grace is gonna cover all of my sins. So what? But like, what? That's like me being like, well, Paul will forgive me if I do this or that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's not a
fair.
relationship. That's not a healthy relationship.
I believe it was Jesus that said, if you love me, you will keep my commands. So yeah, that's a great example. If Morgan is about to do something saying, I know Paul will forgive me, so I'm going to do this thing that he hates or that hurts him, I'm just realistically, how much do you love? Hey, I'm just quoting scripture. How much do you love God if you are disobeying Him, knowing He's going to forgive you?
Yeah, I mean,
That sounds harsh, but I'm just,
you guys, we gotta flee from sin. We don't just like put it in a corner. Like we flee from it, because when we're living a life in sin, we are living a life that is separated from God, and that is just not where you want to be. Like not because it's like horrible or what, but it's like not having that very presence of the Lord is so earth shattering. At least for me, like it's just like I can't. I have to have Him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
Real quick, Love Outreach 2 says, what are Caroline and Lucy's social media? I want to follow them
Oh,
too.
thank you.
Oh, that's
What
kind.
is it, you guys?
I'm at Lucy_Ray_of_sunshine.
Whoa.
That's a lot.
Lots
You
of
might have to
underscores.
type that in.
If you go to like our Instagrams,
Yeah.
we follow them. So just
You can type
Lucy,
in our names.
In like my most recent, like 3 of my most recent pictures, they're in one of them. So
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can find them.
We're up to date.
Lucy Reinhardt, Catherine Caroline,
Claire.
She's got like
yeah.
5,000
Wow.
names.
I know.
Catherine Caroline Claire.
Yeah.
okay. Maze, who said it's totally possible to overguard your heart.
Oh, yeah,
She
which-
says.
Okay,
Let's
good.
keep this debate going.
Yeah, I want to know.
Healthy debate. Let's go.
This is interesting. She says, I almost turned away the man that God brought into my life, that even my parents told me was the right man, because I had hardened my heart and guarded it so much. So interesting, and I think that goes along with what Lucy was saying about how there's actually maybe some fear, and that's not like
The
guarding,
same.
like yes, it's guarding your heart, but it's guarding your heart out of fear, not out of purity to the Lord, not out of like wanting to glorify Him, so you're not gonna do this or that. Like it's like this fear of being hurt. It's this fear of picking the wrong person. It's this fear that you don't know who's the right guy or girl, and so like. I think that is overguarding your heart in the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like putting up walls or something.
Yeah, I
I
think
tried
that's
to follow
yeah.
Morgan on Twitter, but couldn't find her. What is your Twitter, Morgan, or don't you have one? I do have a Twitter, but I literally never ever get on it. I think I don't even know when the last time I posted on it. So just follow me on Instagram at Morganologus.
a lolligus.
I post to Twitter. I like Twitter.
I'll post to Twitter.
Yeah, if you want to follow.
He's a sweeter.
If you need someone to follow on Twitter.
Yes. But anywho's, all right. Next.
What else do we have?
Find us a question, Caroline.
Oh my, Corolla.
We're glad you guys are here hanging out with us on this rainy Saturday.
It's beautiful.
Let us know. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Is it sunny there? Is it starting to feel like spring?
Is it cloudy with a chance of meatballs?
Yeah, because it's starting to feel like spring here, but it is rainy.
Just a bummer today.
A lot of
But
little.
it's been so nice this past week.
It's been
Oh,
nice.
this is an interesting one.
Okay.
This is
Do
from
we trust her to
Miss
choose?
I trust Caroline.
Elenius.
Miscellaneous?
Elenius, is that what
Like
that is?
miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous.
Okay.
Cuckoo.
The question is, do you think Tinder has damaged millennial romance?
Wow!
Ask these
I
guys.
don't think it's damaged. I think it's exposed.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Why don't you expound?
Yeah, I know.
Miscellaneous, if you didn't know, Polly Ollie and I met on Tinder.
Polly
Also, Nate and Sutton, if you guys know their YouTube channel, they're awesome. We love them.
They met on
Sutton,
Tinder.
Nate, hi. But they also met on Tinder, kind of. It's an interesting story. But yeah, they met through Tinder. And so here's the thing. I think it's less Tinder and it's more the people using Tinder.
That was
That's
what
a
I.
good
That
point.
was my point.
Yeah.
Because when Paul and I use Tinder, we're not looking for hookups.
Mhm.
I personally was just looking for a guy to buy me a nice dinner. But
I mean,
She's honest. She's honest.
Wow.
Paul though was looking for a wife, and Nate and
Which is
Sutton.
odd
Yeah.
for a man on Tinder.
Yeah.
I can't seem to find one of those.
But Nate and Sutton, they were looking for a husband and a wife. You know, they were very intentional about it. They were, yeah. So, you know,
That's a good
I think that it's more so the people,
Mhm.
what they're looking for and desiring rather
Mhm.
than the actual app.
But I do
Or
think
apps.
that there is a certain degree to where it's made kind of dating less special. If that makes
Yeah.
and you
People
know
just less likely to walk up to
to
someone
you and
"Let's
say,
go
hey,
out."
let's go out. Yeah,
Right.
I don't see that ever happening.
It's
Not
kind
that
of-
it does.
But maybe that's also risen out of this feminism movement.
It's kind of it's kind of accommodating a more passive culture.
Yeah.
Another good one-liner. Booyah!
What if your partner? That's what I
Oh no.
Thank you for your super chat.
Have
Moving
grace.
on.
That's all I can
This is a
say.
good question. This is a good question. Junior Gillette. What if your partner passes too much gas?
If your partner is very flatulent, then give him grace.
And
It's just the way
IBS
it is.
medicine.
And yeah, I mean, nose plugs. You know, if you love them that much,
some of
just
those
give 'em
underwear
grace.
that block the toots.
Yeah, I've seen those on Amazon where it makes
I
it
mean,
smell
for
better.
this
I knew
guy.
you were gonna say that.
I mean, guys, it's honestly, I know you were just trying to be silly and maybe be a troll. I don't know, but it's a normal function of the human body, and I think we can all agree with that. But we need to also try to be respectful of other people.
That's true.
And so, Lucy
Maybe
and I
just
live
walk
together.
out the door. It's
Yeah,
not that
Lucy and I
far.
live together, so we always kind
She
of
struggles with this.
I do not.
Okay, alright, moving on.
Maybe I do.
We're not gonna go there. G
You're ruining my prospects of a future husband. You're on here right now watching.
I can tell a lot.
Alright, hey, Giovi, let's see where a few people are from. Giovi, I'm from Miami. It's sunny.
Miami.
I want to be in a
There are
warm
pretty
climate.
cheap flights to Miami right now.
Yeah.
Beatriz, I'm from the Netherlands, so it's
Cool.
nighttime there.
Oh.
Interesting.
Nice.
Jaslyn, it's cloudy. It's slightly snowing, B. Noel says. Where are you at, B. Noella? South Africa, so it's nighttime here.
Oh, guys, I love the reach you have on this channel.
It's pretty sweet. Beatrice,
England.
It's 18.
Ireland.
Wait,
Oh,
any
can I try
Parisians?
my Irish accent?
Try it.
Okay.
Try it.
This is my Irish accent, and I don't really know how.
Was worse than Morgan's.
Wait, no. Okay. I'm going to go. No, I'm gonna go down to the pub, and I'm gonna get a night. No, no, I can't.
You were trending upward, sounding a little bit like Niall Horan.
Lacey's Wild World.
Oh, mommy's on.
Who?
She says hi, my love, my mother.
Oh, Mama.
Hi, mom.
Oh.
She said hi, my love, Yvonne.
Oh, what is that name?
Well, her name is Yvonne, and we always call her Yvie.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see.
We were thinking we were talking to an English woman.
Someone in Switzerland.
Oh yeah, North Switzerland.
Well, I don't know why I said Switzerland.
Love it, guys. Grand Rapids, it's cold and cloudy. Cameroon, Africa, it's quite hot.
Oh, transport
Ireland,
me.
Canada, Puerto
Ireland,
Rico,
Poland.
Any
Texas.
French people?
Yeah, anyone from France? We were
My
in
major
France.
is French.
I
love it.
have a good Irish accent, okay?
Let's hear.
Ireland.
Ireland.
That's all you.
Gonna go
This
to
is a bad
Ireland.
representation of
From the
Americans.
The Irelands.
All right,
The Ireland.
let's see what else we got here. Why does that guy have such white teeth? It's rather off-putting.
Wait, let's all do this.
Oh.
Let's look at your teeth.
Whose teeth are
I-
whitest? Paul's.
Really?
I feel
I
like
don't care.
honest-
These lights make
These
all
lights,
our teeth
like,
look super
yeah.
white.
You think this is highlight? No, it is just.
If a guy
he
has
doesn't
white,
get his teeth whitened, guys.
Wait, thank
Well,
you, Lucy,
I might.
for your comment about my hair. Can you do a Russian accent?
Russian accent. If
We
we
are going to spy on the
Oh,
Germans.
wow.
I can't.
If we get to 150, wait, no, where are we? Oh, we're at 49 thumbs up. If we can get to 100 thumbs up, we will all do an accent of your all's choosing. And
Oh.
let's get to a few more comments here. A few more. Let's dive back in. Focus this on the dating relationships, but if you guys have other comments, we can probably get
And
to
then
those.
I will give you my
Can
variety
Paul
of accents.
Bob his pecs. What does that even mean?
Oh,
Like the Rock?
that's
He
I
can shimmy.
can't,
You can show it.
especially not in this loose sweater.
He's working on it.
Let's see, you guys. Give us some more questions.
Yes. Let us know what you wanna know.
Do you feel, Mora is asking, do you feel that a dating relationship that has already gone too far can recover? It's a great question.
Ooh.
We get that question asked a good amount. I would say yes and no. Yes, you can absolutely recover from this. You can absolutely rewind, take steps backwards, repent, turn from that sin. Repent and turn from the sin means the same thing. But it is going to take a lot. Okay, I'm trying to focus here, babe.
Sorry.
It's going to take a lot of accountability and
For
responsibility and mentoring. Like, you can't do this on your own anymore.
Yeah, you have to bring someone else into
Yes,
that. For
like
sure.
clearly you've messed up. You two have messed up on your own. So now, like, you need to recognize, okay, we can't do this on our own anymore. We need to bring people in, and we need to like have them hold us accountable. And we need to set incredibly strict boundaries because clearly the boundaries we set did not work, or
Yeah.
maybe you didn't set boundaries at all. I don't know,
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So yes, I think it is possible, but I think that a lot of people aren't willing to do that work that it takes. Like, they're kind of like, okay, we're gonna try to not do this again. And so for the next month, they try really hard, and then they slip up again, and then they're just kind of like, well,
It's like in a circular.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
like, well, all right, guess we're just not really probably gonna be able to like do this, so we'll just live in sin. Yeah. So.
Yeah, let's see. Sandra asks, when is it okay to kiss? You'll have to go back and watch our last video because we talk about when we think it's okay.
Never.
Kissing even in marriage.
It's not okay, guys. I'm kidding. That was really a joke.
What about this one? Jaden Mock says, what should be the physical boundaries with guy friends? And when I read that, I'm thinking, okay, guys that are not love interests, just guy friends. What do you guys think? Just boundaries with guy friends?
What should the
Maybe
boundaries be with guys?
so that you're not leading them on and they're not leading you on.
Caroline's got a little experience in this field.
Oh, Caroline!
Ouch!
I feel like Caroline
Not
has
the
a lot
bad
of
way. Not the bad way.
Caroline has a lot of life experience.
You guys, coming from someone who has led people on accidentally, but I have a very flirtatious personality. Anyone will tell you that. And so I just don't realize sometimes that when I say, "Oh, honey, sweetie,"
So you're a
tap on the shoulder or I'll
you're an arm toucher while saying sweetie and honey.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to have an intervention.
I-
Caroline. Like, you just did the double whammy.
I know, but like I don't realize that I mean I do now, but in the moment you know you don't realize what that really means to someone else, and then you get yourself in an interesting situation where you have to tell someone you're actually really not into them when they feel like you've given them clear signs that you are.
Because it's funny,
Depends.
we've made a video, you guys should go watch it if you haven't, a Christian's Guide to Flirting. And in that video, Caroline is ultimately doing 2 of the best flirting tactics while not meaning to.
Maybe I need to start these tactics.
So we'd encourage some of you guys to do these tactics,
Yeah.
but not Caroline if she doesn't mean what she's doing.
Right. So yeah, just be careful. I came from Lucy and I, we came from very touchy-feely, huggy, physical homes, and so not homes, we're related. So I feel like that's something that I still have to keep myself in check and have to remember that not everyone grew up the same way I did, and so not everyone thinks it's normal to just hug or to just be really physical, or when I call someone a sweetie or honey, they're like,
Sometimes I cringe, you guys.
I can tell, just Lucy, Caroline, stop. I don't know.
I'll look at her, and it's not good to judge people, but I do judge her sometimes.
At least she's honest, people. At least she's honest.
Yeah.
So be careful.
What are good boundaries in guy relationships? Obviously, we're not petting them and calling them sweetie. First off, I think for some guys that's kind of maybe
a lot.
A little bit
It might make me feel emasculated.
You poor little thing, baby doll.
Yeah.
That is not. I don't say that.
I highly recommend not watching R-rated movies or movies with sexual content with boys.
Oh, yeah.
Or just
where are you going
probably
with that?
in general. For me, that's at least protection.
But yeah, just in mixed company, maybe not.
I mean, if you don't need to be if you're not trying to climb up a rock or something, you don't really need to be holding hands. Not that it's wrong, but it can just give wrong signs. I don't know.
Yeah, I once had a friend who was super, super, super physical with her guy friend, and that basically what happened was she ended up really having feelings for him, and he did not have those same feelings for her, but it kind of goes along the lines of friends with benefits, that whole thing, and it's just just be really, really careful. You need to have those lines there for a reason. Respect yourself and respect that other person.
Yeah. I saw someone say be direct, and I think that's key. Yeah.
It is key, but it's scary.
Yeah.
It's good topics, you guys. The Restart Life, you're doing a great job of keeping the convo appropriate. Thank you.
Why are we still only at 67 likes, you guys? I want to do my accents for you.
Thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up.
I
What?
have a question.
Oh, you see something?
Classmates in high school without I didn't see it all.
Have
Lana?
you witnessed your classmates in high school without losing all your friends?
Lana G.
That's
How do you witness to classmates in high school without losing all your friends? And I'm guessing you're saying losing your friends because
they don't agree.
if they don't agree and feel like you're judging them.
Honestly, then they weren't your friends. Why would you even want to have them as your friends if they're judging you or ditching you because of your belief?
That's a great point, but that sounds kind of harsh though.
Well,
If it's maybe people that weren't necessarily your friends, but
Yeah.
acquaintances.
okay, I get that.
Well, yeah, I think
Lucy, you went to a high school that wasn't a Christian school, and you were surrounded by a lot of people who weren't Christians. How did you deal with that?
yeah.
Or how would you deal with that?
I guess I probably deal with it different than I did then because I was not really living in a lifestyle where I lived out my faith in school. I did this thing where at home I was one way and at school I was another. I don't suggest that because ultimately that is very damaging, and I see where I could have benefited a lot from being faithful in my walk throughout high school. But even then, I've seen where God has been faithful to me in that, and just like the friends that I have now, I've got a few good friends from high school still, like have really seen Christ through me, even though I didn't know I was acting that out in some ways. So like people will see the light in you and catch on. But yeah, it is hard to consider losing friendships over your faith. And it's a really big deal in high school. I understand that. And Morgan, you do make a good comment. Like, we want to surround ourselves with other believers, and I think you can try and do that. I think you can find like-minded people. It might not be 8 friends, 10 friends, but like if you get like a good core group of friends in high school, I think that's really powerful.
Yeah. You know, I watched my little sister who's 17 now. She's a senior. I watched her like really sophomore, maybe even freshman year, but sophomore, junior, senior year, like on and off, she just lost a lot of her friends because she was so on fire for the Lord and is so on fire for the Lord, and like she just wasn't distracted by the things like that high schoolers normally are, like partying and dating a bunch of boys and like doing this or that. Like she wanted to go to church. That was one of her fun things to do. And like have prayer meetings and worship nights and stuff. And her friends thought that she was super weird. But like, I just think I watched just one of the things she did was just pour into the word even more, like gave herself even more to God through those times. And like, that's so cool. And that's just such a testimony and will be such a testimony as she gets older. And like her walk with the Lord is going to be so much stronger because of these things. And, you know, she found friends in her church and in like Bible studies and stuff that also had the same desires that she had to just like chase after the Lord. And so just keep seeking, because you will find those people.
God will ultimately bless your faithfulness. He really will.
Yeah.
He will. What is this? What is this comment? Lucy Pogson. Paul Morgan, I want to apologize to you. What? I've in the past let other YouTubers determine my judgment of you. We may not share the same views, but you're both some of the funniest and nicest people on YouTube.
It's because we're
I'm
on.
gonna cry.
It's
That's
really 'cause
so
of us.
sweet.
Lucy!
Yeah, that's
First off, you have an incredible name, from a Lucy to a Lucy, so I
Yes.
appreciate that. But
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, that's super
Lucy.
sweet. Well, it's just like nice to know that like, you guys, it is possible to disagree with other people, but to still love them. Like that is a thing.
and
I don't know.
we're blessed to get the behind the scenes of these guys, and it's not easy, this adversity that comes through making this channel. And so I know that you wrote that comment not knowing how much of a blessing it is, but
It's
these
a
people,
really big blessing.
that'll carry them through the next few weeks.
It really will.
It really would. I mean,
Well,
at least the next few days. The Restart Life, you all, I'm over here wondering why y'all still single, because it's been a hoot having you on the P&M show.
You know, honey.
She's doing it
She's
again.
flirting with you.
She was trying to touch the screen, pretending.
You know?
oh my goodness.
No. Oh wait, what does mommy say? God loves you and wants you to have. Oh.
She's
not talking
trying to
to us.
someone
Hey,
else.
love.
That's so sweet.
That is
Thank
so
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out why I'm single. I look at myself.
I know why she's still single. I get it.
Oh wow, they are sassy, you guys.
Ouch.
They get. I've had to calm them down a few times.
It's
Barbara
true.
says, "Where is Morgan?
That's a good question.
I'm right here.
Where is Morgan?"
I don't know.
We don't know
Honestly,
where
it's
Morgan
no
is.
longer the Paulandmorganshow.
Morgan hasn't been here for a few weeks.
Hello?
So
Is there
next
anyone
question.
out
I
there?
felt a.
Does anybody
I
see
almost.
me?
I feel like I felt a breath by
Hello?
my ear.
Yeah.
Oh!
It's Morgan!
The invisible woman. Let's get to another one.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, this is always.
Y'all,
fun.
why are we still only at 7? You want to hear my accent.
And guys, we will
So
let.
like it.
Wait, I can get on my phone and like it.
We'll let you all pick the accents for us. So you can pick some crazy ones, and we got to give them a try. We
Yeah.
got to give them a try, even if it'll make us look not too good.
My accents are so.
Um.
I watched a lot of H2O, so my Australian accents are
Tell
really
me about
nice.
Lucy's
Wait,
Wild
why are you
World.
giving them
Oh.
a sneak peek?
Lucy, come on.
That was
Just
Carl.
call me Lucy.
Oh, dang it. So,
I'm
82?
sorry.
Oh,
I'm
you
sorry.
did it too. You did it too. I call.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's
Sometimes
not.
I call them by the wrong
Oh,
names.
yes, it is. I get called Megan all the time. That's my sister's name.
You do. Well, what did I call Lucy the other day? I called you.
Lucifer. I'm not kidding.
Wow, no. I called you Lily. I called you Lily.
Yeah. Which is our little
Are you
sister.
trying to look
Oh.
at something?
How do I like this?
Okay, let's get it.
84 thumbs up. Come on, guys. Get it to 100.
But I want to do another question. This is fun.
How do you give it a thumbs up? X out of the live chat thingy. And then,
And
There it is. There it is.
You need to have
Who
Megan
gave
on the
thumbs
show.
down?
I'll give it a thumbs up too.
I'm liking it so I can give him so I can. Anyways, continue.
Lana's gonna create 50 fake accounts.
Oh,
That's really sweet of you.
That's really
That's
sweet.
gonna take some time, my friend. Wait up, your mama is on the live stream. Be careful.
Yeah.
Lucim, Christianity. Oh wait, no. Where did I see something about Oh, forget that. I don't know what I was.
Lucy's Wild.
Don't know what I was
I
saying.
get it.
Restart life. Wait, your mama is on the live stream. Be careful. Okay.
All of
Yeah,
us
that
sass.
way.
Oh,
Okay,
believe
I'm behind.
me.
Someone else take
We
it.
get our sass from our mother. Okay.
Ooh.
What's
Oh,
it? Do you guys? Oh.
93 thumbs up. Come on, guys. Come on.
You know you
Do
want
you
to
guys believe
7 more
in?
likes.
That's a big one. I don't want.
So is personality or looks more important in a relationship? Raving Josh says.
Look,
What do you guys think?
here we go.
I
Look.
thought you were saying
Oh.
looks, and I was like, what?
Let me just be clear.
That's a good question. Though.
That's a good
It is.
question.
It's fair. It's
A
valid.
very good
It's
question.
valid.
Yeah.
It was like equal for me.
It's equal for
For
you.
me,
Yeah.
I wanted good looks and I wanted a good personality.
High standards.
But like, I wanted good looks and I wanted a godly personality. Okay.
You guys, here's what I did to test Morgan to see if she was all about looks. I spent the whole first date, and this sounds kind of bad, but I was like this. And she still asked for she accepted my second date, even though I was looking like that for the whole first date. I knew she saw my personality.
Impressive.
Wow.
I knew she saw my personality.
No.
What are your personal thoughts on this?
I
Is
think
one
that
elevated above the other?
I don't think so. I think that for me,
I was
I
gonna say,
I
y'all-
need to be physically attracted to somebody.
yeah.
That's really important to you guys.
like
Like,
for any
don't
relationship.
underestimate that. Like, I've met plenty of guys with incredible personalities, but if I'm not physically attracted to them, like, I can't, like, I can't grow that, you know? Like, that's not something that I
Doesn't
can work
grow.
on.
On a bush.
But with that being said, sometimes I do think people's personalities can grow on us, and because we like their personality so much, they can kind of become a little more attractive to us.
Trust me, I have.
So, yeah.
Yes, I agree. I have talked to plenty of guys who are very attractive who have the worst personalities, and I was like, peace out, bro.
Yeah.
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 It don't
Okay.
matter how cute you are. If you got a crappy
A
personality.
bad personality brings someone down big time, but can
Yeah.
a good personality make someone more attractive?
I
Yeah,
think
sure.
so.
I think that's what
yeah,
you're
I
saying,
definitely
yeah.
think it can.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
also think that there has to be kind of an initial physical attraction,
I think that's important.
and then the personality can kind of
And don't
grow
feel
it
like you're being
more.
selfish in that. Like the
Yeah,
Lord's
if you-
put on your heart what you desire, and
Good.
that's
Yeah.
what you desire. You
Don't settle just because you
Yeah.
think you're being silly because you're not physically attracted to them.
Yeah.
That's That's silly.
Lotus Blossom says, I just walked away from a relationship with someone who had a faith but needed to grow. I'm really broken over losing him. He was growing in his faith. Should I have stayed and waited?
Wow, that's a great question.
That's a good
I think
question,
that it was
sweetie.
super mature of you to be able to walk away.
Paul is just like
That is scary.
I've been eclipsed.
Lotus Blossom, I think that was super mature of you. I know that is incredibly hard. Breakups, seriously, are some of the worst pain, like, ever. It's so painful and horrible and hard to leave a person that you feel so close and connected to.
Yeah.
But I think that is huge that you were able to recognize, like, this person needs to grow. Because, you know, like, in a year or two, they could have grown and come back, and you all could get back together, and, like, he will be able to lead you as a godly man, and yeah, like, have no problem doing that. But, like, the fact that you recognize, like, this guy, he's on the right path, but he still needs to grow, and, like, I just don't feel like I can, like, submit to his leadership or, you know, whatever. Like, that's really big of you. And so I say good job, and trust that the Lord led you in that decision, and that he's going to lead you through the pain and the hurt and heal you of that.
Guys, we got 107 thumbs up.
Yeah!
Let's go! Let's go! All right, pick.
All right.
You guys comment.
Yeah,
let us
y'all
know
comment.
what accent you want to see for Caroline, for Lucy, for Morgan and I. We're just gonna start whatever ones we see.
I can't make any promises.
We're gonna try. We're gonna try it.
Yeah.
Someone should do it.
We'll see what they say. It can be a specific.
says though.
It can be a specific person, or it can be a country, or whatever.
are going to build a wall.
Wait, did they say?
Yeah,
it?
someone asked for.
All right, well, there you go. You got a Trump impression from Caroline.
We're going to build a wall, and it's going to be fantastic, guys. It's going to be great. It's going to have a big door. It's going to be a big doorknob. And you know who's going to pay for it? Not us. No, Mexico. Mexico's
That's
gonna
not bad. That is not bad.
Sounds like Trump.
Surprisingly not bad.
Yeah.
All right, we're seeing a lot of like different accents. Should we have them tell which person they want to hear it from?
Yeah.
So you got to tell us who you want to see use that
You
accent.
need to remember, I'm Lucy. That's Caroline.
Lucy,
Paul,
Caroline, Paul, Morgan.
Yes. Also, we don't want. There's
This is Swedish.
There's no racial slurs here.
Oh, yeah.
We're not trying to like be jerks. Yeah. So
I
we're
love
just being
accents.
fun and goofy, and we stinking love accents.
And we love accents, so.
Paul. Lucy, do a Morgan accent.
Oh my gosh, guys!
Oh! Shade thrown! Shade thrown!
First of all,
I'm really pushing to go swimming today because I'm about to lose you guys for 2 weeks.
She's nailed it. She's
Maybe
nailed it.
more.
She's
We
nailed
have
it.
to swim today.
All right, wait, we got a few more. We got a
That's
few.
done in love.
All right, we got Paul British, Paul German,
Sprachen die Deutsch.
Paul French. Okay.
Morgan, do your French accents. Okay.
Morgan can do a good French accent.
I'm trying to think like what to say though.
Oh, Polly, I love you.
Yeah, we got two theater girls up front.
Theater girls.
We should join a troupe.
A troupe.
Okay.
I'm so funny.
It is
with deepest pride and greatest pleasure. You can do that.
What's that from?
Like the Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the
Beast. Oh,
That we
yeah.
present to you the evening beast.
How about you guys just go ahead?
No, I want to hear you.
I did you. That was brave of me. Just be glad our
Yeah,
friendship's
we're
where it's
brave.
at.
All right, Morgan, go.
Okay.
Just launch in.
This is my French accent, and I am talking like a French girl. Bonjour et merci. Have a great day today.
It's not bad
That's
at
pretty good, guys. Lucy and I lived in France for a while.
Was
and that's
it
pretty
good?
good. Yeah, that's so good.
bad.
I worked with
All right, Morgan, just give me one. I honestly am not looking forward to this because I'm awful at accents, but just give me one and I'll launch into it. Go.
Paul Spanish. Do Paul Spanish.
Autumn says that is amazing.
Despacito.
I feel like I couldn't do Spanish without talking in Spanish.
That's true. Like, yeah, how does
Scottish ball.
Oh yeah, Scottish.
Scottish fall?
I watched enough of Outlander.
Scottish. Come on, girls, we got to go to the market. We need to be tough.
What are we going to the market for, Paul?
All right. Gail, let's go another question. Come on.
Oh my
I
goodness.
apologize for that.
I apologize.
All right.
Okay. Some more steamy questions.
Oh wow, we've been on for a little while, so couple more questions.
How have
Let's-
we been on for so
I know, it's always so hard.
Let's move into a round of the questions can come from wherever.
Lucy, Mom really wants to hear your Aussie accent.
Go, Lucy.
Oh my gosh. So I've got this show called Lucy's Wild World, and on it I tell you all about the wilderness and the wild animals.
Whoa.
This is a squishy right here, and one of the fiercest. Okay, so
That was great.
I'm pretty good.
That was really good.
So I started a YouTube channel, Lucy's Wild World.
Oh, I have a YouTube channel, people.
They know.
She does. Make sure you go follow.
Caroline Claire.
Caroline
She
Claire.
just hit 100 subscribers
Yeah,
yesterday.
I got
Wait, do
it.
the Hemsworths follow you?
She
Because
was-
if they heard my accent, they would.
The Hemsworths, really?
On the up and up.
Something Lucy does is she winks all of the time.
I do. I'm not flirting. It's just
Winking.
She'll
is
wink at
natural.
her pastor and things get really awkward.
I've done it
Thanks to the
before.
pastor?
I've
Yeah,
done it before,
Travis.
and
Oh.
you know he's too kind to say anything. But in my heart, I'm like, why the heck did I do that?
All right, give us another question. Catherine, Caroline.
Oh, this time. Age difference when considering dating. Oh, Caroline's got
Guys,
some interest.
I almost just died. Nobody.
Were you trying to pick
Is that how you got this hole in your shit?
Will, Mata, just so you know, they follow us on Instagram, so if you go to their Instagrams and then we're in like Morgan's, like one of her most recent pictures.
Dame el Instagram de tus amigas.
Yeah, she just hit 100, but she is on the up and up, so I think the ball is going to keep rolling.
What?
Okay, so age difference in dating. That's interesting.
This is going to be a little
This is from
controversial.
Beatrice. I'm gonna butcher your last name. I'm sorry, sweetie. Kapaku.
Nice.
Sounds about right.
We were just having this conversation.
Maybe
What?
say it silent.
Yeah, Paku. Paku. What's your opinion of age difference when considering dating? I am 25 and most people that I meet in my church are younger than me. How would you advise on not getting discouraged about it? That's interesting.
Yeah, my church is lacking in age-worthy men, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely difficult because one thing I struggle with is like dating younger guys. I don't like the idea of dating a younger guy. I think because my dad was older than my mom, and just so many guys in relationships with my girlfriends are older. Like I've just always wanted an older guy, so it is kind of hard. Like even in college.
How old would you say you
How old are
were?
we talking? What is
My
the
mom
ideal?
said that a good age difference is 6 years. Like the guy is 6 years older.
But
Yeah.
there's also, I mean, exceptions where you
Yeah, I mean,
can
like,
have a younger man.
Bethany
Yeah.
from Girl Defined is married to Dave, and
Mhm.
he is 7 years younger than her,
Yeah.
or 6, 7, or 8 years younger.
Yeah. So I think it just depends on the guy.
Case by
Honestly,
case.
I think the reason that I wanted someone older is because I wanted someone more mature. But there are rare exceptions, but they're there of guys who are
Yes.
younger but who are really mature. So, you know, I think kind of once you kind of hit that 20s point, age is not like, I don't know.
Yeah, once you get to a
biggest
certain
factor.
point,
Yeah.
you don't have to mind it as much. But more than age, guys, you're just looking at, does it fit? You know, are both parties mature enough? Is there any massive holes that should be red flags? If not,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
Maybe
age
it's okay. Yeah.
isn't a huge deal. Age gaps aren't huge deals.
Age is just a number.
Why is it so much more common for guys to be older? Because guys, honestly,
Their brains are like years behind. That's
Yeah,
science.
like
That's
so
science.
many- Like
There's
college
no
just
science
now
about that
on my
science.
maturity level, so
no, but really, guys, women do mature faster than men, and so
Yeah.
like dating an older guy, like a lot of the times you're mentally on the same levels.
I guess that's one way to.
I would say
Look
that
at
Paul
it.
and I, Paul is 6 years older than me. I'd say he's more mature than me on a lot of levels, and then I'm as mature, if not more mature. On
oh
other
for sure
levels.
there are some. Morgan is so mature. in so many
So
ways.
you guys are hearing one perspective. from the ladies.
Would you like to say something?
What's your perspective, buddy?
Oh, this is Squishy. The dog's name is Squishy.
Oh yeah, this is my little baby girl, Squoosh.
Yeah, she's a wild beast.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust her.
Okay, Paul, you look like you've
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I don't think that's the only reason is the maturity levels.
Okay.
I think it is a valid. I think it is a valid thing that often happens, but I think there's
But it is
many.
scientific proof.
The girls are more mature than guys.
That
Yeah,
our
our brains
brains
develop
that we
faster.
mature more quickly.
develop faster than men.
Which is okay. Like, yeah. I
It's
mean,
real, babe. Have you
like, no,
never
that
read
that
this
actually
before?
is science. Like,
Science?
I learned that in my biology class.
No, hey, calm down, you and
This
you.
guy doesn't believe in scientists.
Calm down, you and you. No, I have heard that females. Yeah, sure, but.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
But
Yeah, I've heard that,
I
sure.
think there are other reasons that typically a guy is a little older, but not necessarily. I don't think the Bible has anything to say on that a guy should be older. So there are plenty of times when a girl's older.
So many times.
My mom.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
What? Okay, your mom's like 2 months older than your dad.
Still older.
Wow! Wow!
All I'm saying is, I mean, well, yeah, it's not like something we need to get in.
terrible
It's not like something we need to get in an argument about.
No, like we said, you know, Bethany and Dave, like they are 6 years apart. She's older, and I think it absolutely works. I think that Dave is extremely mature and like is walking with the Lord, has had a solid walk with the Lord for a while now, and so it works. And like Paula said, age is not necessarily the most important thing. The most important thing is, does it line up? Are you guys, you know, like compatible? So yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Morgan, how old are you now, and how old were you when we got married? We get asked.
They're actually
this question.
65. They look really young and healthy for their age.
I'm 25. He's 30. I was 21, and he was 26 when we got married. So.
Most men go bald, male pattern bald.
Okay, now that is something I have worried about. I will say, and the Lord has had to kind of work on my heart a little bit.
Is that really something that is like kind of deep down a fear?
I just don't want to marry a really attractive guy now and then him
No, hey, it's
to lose
real
all
talk.
his hair.
Real talk. We're getting into real
It's
talk.
real. It's
We need
real
good
for
hairline.
I mean, I
I
appreciate
already
a
have
solid hairline.
What about if the guy tries?
Facial hair.
Well, yeah. What about that? What if the guy grows a good beard?
Oh, I don't mind clean shaven beard. Oh, you mean
If he
Bald.
loses all of his
Loses
hair.
no,
his
hair on your face does not like
I think it does.
mean that the hair on your
It's not gonna. It's not gonna make it total. But doesn't it add a little bit? Like if you
anything-
lose your hair but then grow a nice beard, that complements that.
If anything, the
Yeah.
contrast is just so much more.
I'm
your
pulling up a
face.
picture. I'm pulling up a picture.
I mean, if we're talking about like bald guys like Handsome Rob or you know the yeah, what's his name? The guy that was in the
Job.
Italian Job. I don't actually know his real name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
If we're talking about those kind of guys, like okay,
Wait, what's the Bible story about a bald man? Should I know that?
Oh, I don't know.
where the guy has like a genetic condition where he loses almost all his hair on his head. Yes,
Oh.
the Bible does say beauty is fleeting, and I have to remember that I'm not going to be
Go,
Yeah, you're
beautiful for the rest
gonna
of
be
my
an
life.
old
either.
hag.
I'm
Oh.
gonna, yeah.
go figure. Best looking guy around. Beard bald.
Yeah.
Bald with beard. Go
yeah,
figure.
But he didn't like just go bald. He
Samson.
shaves his head. There's something
Oh, Samson! Yeah, Samson when he gets his hair cut, is that what they're talking
Oh
about?
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
he didn't go get it shaved, right?
That,
Wait,
and that was
why
all
was
about,
Mom's
All right.
message retracted?
Elisha and
Does
the
that mean
bears.
she took it off herself?
All right.
Someone is saying.
So this guy pursues you and says, "Hey, I want a relationship. I'm already bald, but I look like this. What are you gonna say?"
let me look.
Yeah.
I think he's attractive.
I just like hair guys. I don't
Women
know.
are
It's
really
fine, you're allowed
concerned
to
about
like hair.
breeding
Thank you.
too.
Thank you.
You are absolutely.
I'm
right.
allowed to like hair.
Women
Wow.
want to date men who they know
But yes,
can
bald
make
guys are
beautiful
attractive
children.
too. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
I did
Whatever.
bald
We
guy.
don't want to make any of you all
This guy
out here who are
pursues you.
dating.
What do you say?
If that guy pursues me, I run away. I am putting my tennis shoes on and fleeing to the
He's a
hills.
little mature for Caroline.
All right, I'll stop. I'll stop.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He looks like a cantaloupe. I'm gonna agree.
Alright, we're gonna stop talking about people's looks because yes, beauty is fleeting. It's absolutely okay to want an attractive partner, but yeah, in the end, guys, like, that's not what it's about.
It's not the be all end all or the all be
But
end all.
hey, thank you for sharing your concerns, Caroline.
You're
Those
welcome.
are valid, and I'm sure you're not the only one.
I know I'm not.
Hey, to encourage you though, my dad's hair started thinning probably 15 years ago, and it doesn't look much different than it did when it started thinning 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like you look at him, you're like, okay.
Mom says we wouldn't be here if she'd worried about a bald. It's true. Our dad has very few hairs left.
That's
All right, but you guys get what we're saying. It's, everyone's on a different.
Yeah.
Your dad never had like nearly as much hair as you have right now, so.
I know I was about to say, Paul, well, that would
And-
not make me
And
worry.
actually,
That's a good
Yeah.
thing.
it actually has it actually has to do with the mom side. So for men, so for Paul, he actually needs to look at his mom's dad and how he handled his hair. And your mom said that her dad died with a full head of hair. So
Oh, interesting.
so that's relating.
Sad, but
Why?
but good though. I'm just now picturing my grandpa dying with a full head of hair.
Christina says, Morgan, will you return to singing secular music to your dreams?
And she says it like that because it was in all caps.
Let me just
Tell them what
clarify.
what's your actual dream,
Thank you.
Morgan?
Yeah. So a lot of people are telling me that my dream is to pursue secular music, and I'm like, wait, that's my dream.
Have you talked to her?
I didn't realize.
I say, yeah.
I didn't realize that was my dream, guys. I did not enjoy singing a lot of the songs that I sang when I was signed with the label in Miami. I fought back all the time, saying no, I do not want to sing this song. And they're like, too bad, you're gonna sing it. Anyways, my dream is not to pursue secular music. If anything, my dream for music would be to be traveling with my worship team, leading worship at conferences, Christian conferences and conventions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not because I've been changed by Paul. It's because I've been changed by Jesus Christ. I am a new creation.
Amen.
Lord.
And anyone who says differently does not know Morgan.
Emma
Yes.
says, I feel like Morgan knows her own dreams better
Thank
than
you.
random people on the
Yes,
internet.
that's
Yes.
You are correct. And just want to say that I have never been more free in my music life than where I am right now when I lead worship at church. Like, it's literally the most free I've ever been when I am doing music. And it's amazing, and it's totally from the Lord, and I love it so much. And yeah, so there's that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Autumn Bell says, okay, so read 2 Kings 2:23 through 25 about the bald prophet Elijah the bear. So the
Elisha.
bald prophet Elijah,
Elijah, shut
you're walking down the street. Bald prophet Elisha, one of the most highly esteemed godly men in the
You
Old
make fun
Testament.
of them, and then a bear comes and eats you.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I guess I should be careful about who I look at. Like, I just keep my thoughts to myself about
I'm
all this.
kidding.
Yeah.
Caroline, I'm kidding.
No, but it's a good point.
Our puppy's name is Squishy.
Yes, alright, 3 more questions.
Okay, what? Krista BK says, speaking of music, I have my first solo in church tomorrow, and I'm excited and nervous. Any tips? Okay, girl, here's my tips, okay? It's not about you. It's about the Lord. You're not singing to perform for these people in front of you. You're stepping into the throne room to worship your Father. And that is such a privilege and such an honor. And anyone who is leading worship needs to always look at it like that. We are not on stage to put on a show for people. It's not that type of performance. It is not a performance. It's literally what we're called to do as Lord's creation. We're called to just worship our Father in awe and just give him all the glory. Yeah. And so when you get up on that stage, don't even look at the people. Don't worry about it. Pray over yourself right before you walk out, all day, all night, whatever you have to do, and just ask that the Lord would direct your eyes to him and nobody else. and would direct your thoughts and your heart to Him, so that you can truly worship Him in the way that we're called to worship. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
All right. 2 more questions. So make them good.
Dun, dun, dun.
So make them good. Here, you guys pick one. Pick them out, Lucy and Caroline. Give us 2 great ones to end on.
That's hilarious.
Make them good. Make them good.
I don't know.
Just make them awesome. That's all I'm asking. Take your time, though.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay.
We could do laid back.
Yeah.
You guys are really taking this
Wait, what
seriously.
is it?
I do like to do some fun, weird ones.
They
if
can be
that
fun and
helps.
weird. Whatever the questions are, just whatever category.
I mean, that's up to you. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about that.
Yeah.
No. What are you saying now?
This is quite a.
That one?
This has become quite the ordeal.
I know. I'm just like,
What is the best breakfast cereal? Let's do that one. I like that question.
Oh,
Caroline, thoughts, opinions.
My favorite breakfast cereal is the Life cereal, like the little squares. And I like it.
No, are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
and I like it when it gets really soggy.
So plain.
Wait, is that really high in fiber, right?
I don't know.
I think so.
It's just Life. It's called Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
And-
not bad, but your favorite? That's pathetic.
Okay,
Wow. Can
Morgan.
she not have her own opinion?
I can't have my cereal opinion.
Hey, comment below your all's.
Yeah,
Let's
what-
see what the most popular.
Probably like Lucky Charms or something, because it's all sugar.
Wow, the most
Hey.
loved cereal out of the Paul and Morgan fam is. Let's take a little
Honey
poll
Bunches
here.
of Oats.
I really like Chex that are like honey flavored, or they have a blueberry
The
flavor.
blueberry's
which is
good.
Really
Oh,
good.
the cinnamon.
Cinnamon's good, yeah.
My computer's so good.
Oh my goodness.
All right, wait, cereal.
Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch, you like?
If I'm gonna have a very splurgy, sugary cereal,
What's it gonna be, Paul? Tell us.
the Oreos.
Oh, those are good.
Very good flavor.
Never had them.
Oh, you know what else is a good cereal? O's.
Oh.
O's
The
are
honey
okay.
O's.
Yeah,
Oh
those
wait,
are
that.
good.
Yeah.
With
They don't
the-
really get soggy, which
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Okay, Karen's making fun of me. Paul, that's really high in fiber. You sound like you're 30.
Well, he is.
I'll be 30 in 3 years. Cinnamon Life?
Okay, actually, yeah. No, Cinnamon Life is good
Terrible choices. Okay, Karen is just being mean now.
Reese's Puffs. We love
too.
Reese's,
Reese's
Puffs.
Puffs,
in this house.
Reese's Puffs.
Reese's
Frosted Flakes. They're not just good.
They're great.
Honey Bunches of Oats with almonds. Oh.
Ooh.
Captain Crunch, oops, all berries.
Fruity Pebbles.
Oops,
Love me some Fruity
Golden
Pebbles.
Grams, Life cereal, yes, Amber says.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Count Chocula. I like Raisin Bran.
Count Chocula.
Yeah.
We got 2 for Raisin Bran.
Frosted
Cornflakes, olives.
Hmm.
Is that a cereal?
Interesting.
Olives. And very interesting item.
Okay. Send one more.
One more. You
question.
guys pick it. You
No,
all pick
I'm
the
not
last
picking.
one.
It took way too
You
long.
guys
Yeah, I know.
you took quite a
Darn me.
while.
We got a TikTok
Wait,
notification.
this won't count as a question, but the Restart Life is trying to be slick in there. Do y'all have a way to support your channel, like a Patreon? If so, what is your Patreon?
You are
That's
the
a
best.
good question.
You are the best Restart Life.
Guys, we do have a way that you can support our channel
It's true.
financially, monthly. It's called patreon.com/Paulandmorganshow. If you love what we're doing, you want to support what we're doing, you want to see us keep doing this, we need your help.
And you do
financially,
want to support
because
them.
we don't make a ton of money doing this, and
Supporting
it's kind
them-
of our full-time job. So yeah.
Well,
When you support
Take
these
time.
guys,
it's
it's
not.
supporting the kingdom of God.
We've taken on a little bit of outside work, but we want this to be our full-time job.
Yeah,
yeah,
we do.
yeah.
So
We-
make their dreams come true and become a
No,
Patreon.
the dreams God put in their heart.
Look, we were
Not just their
full-time, and then financially it just wasn't cutting it, so we had to pick up some side jobs.
But we hope to be back full time before long.
Yes, and the Restart Life is actually a patron of ours.
The Restart Life is a beloved, awesome dude.
So go to patreon.com/Paulandmorganshow.
Let's, we got one more question.
Oh,
Restart Life sends us the winky face. No, he does the, what would you call that face? It's kind of like,
it's kind of like smooth slide, like.
all right, so we got that one, which is an interesting one. Oh, your mom says we only eat organic cereal, Caroline. Boom, boom.
Mama, go away! I'm with my friends. Go away, Mom.
Hey, no,
You're so embarrassing.
Mama Reinhardt, it sounds like you raised them well with the cereal if her favorite is Life. Because life, to my knowledge, Life is low sugar, high fiber.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's a quality cereal right
Pretty
there.
good cereal.
All right, clever smirk face is what it's called. All right, guys, very last comment of the live chat is,
Pick it.
this is from Christina, would you be friends with someone who has a different religion than you?
Absolutely.
Yes.
If not,
Yes.
Why? Yes, of course we would. Of course we would. Actually, if you guys didn't know, Lucy and Caroline are Buddhists,
Mm-hmm.
and they're some of my closest friends.
Oh,
I'm just
Hey.
kidding. I don't know if that's Buddhist.
about 6 years ago, I talked to someone who wasn't a Christian.
I talked.
So that was 6 years ago. I've talked to only Christians since then.
Like you dated.
I'm kidding. Bad joke. Bad
Wow,
joke.
Yeah, I
that was really bad. That was so bad.
I mean, if we
I know, I
look
was like,
if
wait,
we
are you
look
being
at
serious?
Jesus' life, who did he hang
Oh
out with?
man. Come on.
Not
It's okay.
primarily
Come back in here.
Believers. Paul, we're trying to be serious now.
Get in
This
here.
is a serious question, Polly.
My joke fell flat.
It did. It felt worse than flat.
I see something about Satanism. I think
Satanism.
I think
I'm
if
gonna
the-
rebuke
That's
that
a hold on.
boy.
That's a cult.
I think-
that's not
yeah.
a religion. Just
that
so
I
we're
was gonna say
aware.
that, and also I
That's
don't really
different.
feel like there are many Satanists who want to be friends.
Friends with Christians
in the first place.
Well, some
But-
Satanists are actually
Okay.
relatively mild.
We met a girl who was a Satanist a few months ago,
Mhm.
and we met with her regularly. So sweet, so kind, came from a family of Satanists, and that is
She was in high school, I believe.
kind of what she was saying is like why she believes what she believes, because her whole family, like we asked her,
Yeah.
Paul asked her, like, so what made you become a Satanist? And she was just like, well, my parents are, my whole family is, so that's just what I am. And it's scary.
I mean, yeah, it's intense.
To think that.
It's intense. And we agree with you there, Lucy. It is.
Yeah. But, like, man, if you can just love them, and when I say love them, that doesn't mean, like, accept their beliefs. That doesn't mean be like, okay, you just keep on living your life. Like, but if we can love them and just be kind to them and, like, take time to just listen to them and hear what they're saying and, like, have, calm conversations with them, like, what a difference that could make. What a difference we saw it made in our Satanist friend. Like, just being kind to her and, like, just letting her know, like,
Empathetic.
well, we're Christians and blah, 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 but,
Yeah.
Yeah, we just need to be loving to people. Like, we just need to really, like, just show people the love that Jesus showed people. And not in a way that's, like, I don't know. But just, like, we need to be open to having conversations with people who don't believe what we believe. And who, and who we can learn from and who they can learn from us. So.
And I think that it would be very closed-minded and hateful to say I'm not going to be friends with this person because they don't believe what I believe. Which, like, when I say friends, like, I don't even mean, like, you don't have to be their best friend. Like, Jesus wasn't best friends with all of these people that didn't believe what he was preaching, like, what he was teaching. But, like, he was kind to them. He had a dinner with them. He had a dinner or 2 or 3 with them. Like, but he, like, continued to move on. Like, he planted seeds and then he moved on to the next. Like, I think that we don't have to be best friends with them. It's not that we have to, like, have them over 24/7 and have slumber parties with them. but like to just be kind, to just like be willing to sit down with them and talk, like have a dinner with them. But yeah,
Be sensitive to how the Lord would stir your heart in relationships
For sure.
with unbelievers, because the Lord may put it on your heart that, wow, this person who is not a Christian is good soil. Like the Bible says, there's the different kinds of soil, and you might feel like, wow, the time that I get to spend with this person, even though they still aren't Christians, is good and fruitful. So you might end up spending more time with that Christian, with that non-Christian, versus someone whose heart is hard and you don't see fruit in your conversation. So,
but I think that it is super important to make sure that you have people in your life that are pouring into you
yeah,
and like encouraging you in your walk with the Lord, that are also walking with the Lord. Like,
Yeah.
you need to make sure that you have that, especially if you're constantly going out and pouring yourself out. Like, you need other people to be able to pour you back up, fill
Great
you
point.
back up.
Great
So,
point.
let's make sure that your only friends are with people who don't believe in God, because
That can be difficult.
Yeah.
they'll pull you down.
Yeah. All right, guys. Man, this is good.
All right.
It's been a good live chat.
This is
95
fun.
minutes!
It's a long one, guys. For more, if you want to become a patron, Patreon.
Do it.
Patreon.com/Paulandmorganshow. We link it below all our videos. Go follow Lucy and Caroline on Instagram. You can find them through us or
Yeah.
Lucy. Say it one more time if they want to look it up.
Oh, it's so long.
Or
Lucy.
just type in their name,
Yeah,
right?
just type in
and
Lucy
it'll come
Right,
up.
Lucy
It'll come up.
Reinhardt and Caroline Reinhardt.
Yes,
And
subscribe
that's
to her.
RINEHART.
There it is. Yes.
I can hear myself. That's weird.
Hey, thank you guys for coming on and
Oh,
sharing
thank
your wisdom.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
I'm sure it won't be the last time.
Oh no.
Restart Live, shout out to you. You killed it. You're awesome.
Yes,
We appreciate
boy.
your support on Instagram, on here, on Patreon. You're a blessing, and we bless you in the creative endeavors that you're doing.
For sure.
We love all of you guys, the
Yeah.
atheists, the Christians, and even the Satanists. And we hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll catch you again very soon.
Have hope.
And be free.
That's good, Lucy. You like jumped in. All right. Booyah.
Bye guys.
Thank you for your super chats too, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to end it.
I'm like trying to end it on my phone.
Oh wait. Where's the? Oh.
Top right.
Top right.
Oh, you.